around the world. Tonight, I have a very, very special guest, Michelle Fanus. She's an event management specialist. Hi, Michelle. So happy to have you here on the show with me.
Hi, happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing your expertise with everyone that's watching out there. And you know now the social media, it's giving us the alternative to actually meet on the online virtual reality. I know that the first question I always ask is, what was your wake-up call? So I'll start up with that.
My wake up call. So, okay, I've been in the industry, the events industry, for 21 years now. And I got my wake up call to go into business 10 years ago. I got a job in the States. It was a pretty good job. I'd worked in the industry for the last 10 years, got this opportunity to work overseas. Took it, didn't like it, missed my family and came back. So I went for 6 months and came back. Got a job here that wasn't as good. The company was awful and my boss was dreadful. Oh, wow. And it was at that point that I said, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I've got plenty of experience, I've built, I'm international, I've got great contacts. I could be doing this for myself. That's what I went and did.
Wow.
It just took getting an awful job for an awful company for a boss that I actually ended up suing for bullying. That was my wake up call, and I just thought I can do this for myself. Yeah.
Wow. And since then you've been working for yourself. And how long is that? How many years? So
I started my business in the middle of a downturn, actually, in 2009. I started my events design and events management business. And I just moved really, really quickly in the first 6 to 8 months, got an international contract within the year, and just did really, really well for the first 3 or 4 years. Then, as in business, you come up against challenges and difficulties, and a number of my contracts were brought back in-house, and I had to end up kind of changing direction slightly. Then I took on a couple of members of staff. So it's been an interesting journey of highs and lows.
Wow.
Yeah, still here.
Very interesting journey. Yes, you went through here to working for yourself and expanding. I love it. I love it. It's amazing how things shift with when you start working for yourself and when you actually know, okay, this is what I want to do. And things develop. And what is your vision of what you're doing now? How are you seeing it going further?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. If you'd have asked me that probably about 2 months ago, before this interesting experience, the coronavirus, the special C word, I would have probably given a slightly different answer.
Yeah.
So my mission has always been and always will be to delight my clients, give them the best possible service, have loads of fun, give them great value for money, and help them to develop the best possible events for their event format for their clients and their partners. Going forward, I think, I've learned a lot about the use of technology, about the use of creating virtual experiences. So that will definitely be part of my offer. And I'll be asking my clients from going forward, do we need to do this live, or do you think this has a virtual element to it? So we say continue to save the planet.
Exactly. Literally be dancing in here in our own rooms, having I went to this amazing party last night.
It's going to be an experience. We did a virtual 16th birthday party for my stepson yesterday. Yeah, we had family ringing from all over the world, which we probably wouldn't have done if we weren't all on lockdown. We probably would all have just gathered locally at home. But we had family members calling from the States, from the Caribbean. It was really, really nice.
Well, at least you have pros and cons in everything, so we can use this situation at least to connect with as many people as possible. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What is your process that you usually go through? So let's say I'm hired to do our events for high profile. So what is usually the process that a client goes with you?
So I always start with the end in mind. That's my saying. What are the aims and objectives? What do you want to take away from the event, or what do you want people to take away? What do you want them to say, do, and what do you want them to say, do, and be as a result of attending your event? So that's where I always start. Blank sheet of paper, lots of brainstorming, and then we work backwards from that in terms of the concept. I always start with the concept. What does the concept need to be? What is it already? Does it need to change? Are you happy with that? Who are you trying to target? Is there anyone else you need to target? So really honing in on the concept, who you're trying to attract and what the event is and needs to be. And then we go into the sort of planning mode, looking for venues, suppliers, to actually make the event happen. And then I'm saying that as though it's just a small stage, but that's actually quite a large, long, and important stage. Yeah. And then on the day, I usually say to my client, you go and do your thing, network, chill out and enjoy the company of your clients and your customers, and let me worry about the mechanics of bringing the event together.
Yeah.
That's how I, tell my clients. Don't be sort of saying you're going to be doing the organising. That's my job.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's actually amazing, because I remember when we were organizing the Migrant Business Show Awards, I remember it was so much, from like the labels, like to the small thing, like the logos on the table, to like everything else on top of it. We literally prepared for months, and when the event was over, and I'm like, wow, it passed so fast. You prepare for this day so long in advance.
So much, yes. Everything's into that single day. I know, and I find that the more you plan ahead of the event, the easier and more smooth running the actual event is. The more is in the upfront planning. The more you leave to kind of chance, is the more that's more likely to go wrong. Best planning is then you tickety bill on the day for sure.
Oh, that's yeah. So I cannot even imagine what you're going through, but as long as you enjoy it, that's what matters, right? If that's what you like to do.
I do, yeah. It's enjoyable. It's a creative process. Yeah. No event is the same. Clients have different objectives, different aims, different pain points. Different events go through different cycles and challenges, and that's what I enjoy. It's a creative process, and the satisfying part is obviously being at the event and it seeing it in its complete form, really. Yeah. That's the satisfying part.
There's now, as we actually close indoors and we're doing like everything virtual, we can actually even appreciate even more when we go to an actual event. Like, this person probably spent hours of choosing the color of the flowers, or all these things, and then it's something magical. It kind of transfer you somewhere, and depending on the event that you go, it can be either the decoration, the candles, the balloons, the flowers. All this actually brings you to a different place. So I would rather go to a physical event than, online event. But I guess, you have pros and cons for both. So
I know. The whole sensual part is what will be missing. Yeah, for sure. With the virtual piece. Yeah. But, this is we have to rely on other things, maybe sounds and visual rather than the sensual stuff. You have to, and rely on other things.
So what tips would you like to give to our audience? I always ask, what would you like to give, for the audience, maybe from your experience?
Yeah, I think thinking about the situation we're in now, I think the first tip would be adaptable. Be adaptable in business. Be creative and be forward thinking. So, what I mean by that is there's obviously a lot of people with businesses that, rely on people contact, they rely on deliveries, they rely on people coming together, and it's about having a business that can be adaptable. So where we've lost demand, where people are coming together, where they're now at home, how can your product then be adapted to people being at home? That's what I mean by developing an adaptive business. So I think being adaptable, forward thinking and creative is the first one. I don't think I could still be in business after 10 years if I didn't have a vision, if I wasn't passionate, motivated and excited by what I do. So I think the other thing is have some make it exciting, be excited about what you do. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning, and it's really what gets you through the tough times when cash flow's tight, clients are difficult, and you sort of see a way forward. So that would be the next thing. And then the other thing I think has really helped me to stay in business for a long time and be successful is surrounding myself with like-minded people and having a network of advisors, coaches, people that you can use as sounding boards when things are difficult, you're not sure what to do, you might have a tricky client, you might want to change direction, rebrand. I've found that, having coaches, business advisors, other business people and entrepreneurs that are like me, that can give me some really interesting insight and give me ways of thinking that I may not have thought of. And also that know me as well. They know what I'm like, what my drives are, and they're able to kind of tap into that and remind me of where I've come from and how far I've come. So I think surrounding yourself with like-minded people and sounding boards really important.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely agree with both. And having people that they're like-minded is it's key, because it's what keeps you going and drives you to actually do what you got. Even smallest thing, even if you write a book, Rafa said, they surround yourself with people also that write books, so they can actually challenge you, how it can be right. So you actually feel that, okay, well, I need to do something, like I feel like I'm not doing anything. So that pushes your drive to go further.
Exactly. I posted something on LinkedIn and Facebook yesterday, and one of my really good friends who's a business advisor said to me, you know what, Michelle, that post is okay, but I'm not sure I would have bought reading that. And you think to yourself, okay. But that's the sort of thing you need. He's an advisor. He's the expert. He knows. And I just got my notebook out, made some notes and thought, good advice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Noted.
Wow. And where people can find you, let's say people out there are watching and they want to create their own events, or it can be virtual events, where can people find you?
So I've got a website. I mean, you can find me on Facebook, Michelle Fanus. I'm on Facebook. That's my business page. You can also find me, Michelle Fanus, on LinkedIn. That's a really good platform. I've got a very strong LinkedIn platform, so you can find me on there. Just pop me a message or a connection request. And my website is dynamicevents.com. So my company is Dynamic Events.
Dynamic Events. I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Always say dynamic.
We're very dynamic.
Yeah, we have to be. Now more than ever. Even if it's a party of one.
Yeah, exactly. Keep going.
We do. Yeah, we have to keep going, because it is temporary after all, but it is still weeks. So yeah.
There's always a sunshine after the rain, so we're gonna wait for this time and get going again. But for all
live events will be back big and furious, I'd say. Yeah, bigger and better.
That's true. For everyone out there that is watching right now and want to connect with Michelle, don't hesitate on Facebook, LinkedIn, or on her website. Once again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you.
For your expertise.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Pleasure. And I'll see you guys next week, where I'm going to interview more inspirational speakers for the next episode of the Wake Up Call Show. See you there.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.